I just wanted to explain, as best as I possibly can, why I engage in activism and why I think that it's not only the right thing to do, but the most important thing that I possibly could do with my time. A book like this one here, Less is More by Jason Hickel, This Changes Everything by Naomi Klein, or even Dr. Karl's little book of climate change. They will explain all of this a lot better than I possibly could, especially Less is More. I highly recommend if you're a reader. But if not, here we go. I'll try and explain it in my own words. The climate crisis is here, and it's not on you. It's well known that BP, as in the fossil fuel company British Petroleum, that BP, that they invented the term carbon footprint. They invented it as a distraction and as a means of shifting blame. We are encouraged to be aware of our personal impacts, to recycle, to be waste conscious, to limit our carbon footprint, as they put it, in every possible way, and so we should. I mean, I definitely try to. I'm vegan, which is one of the most significant ways to reduce your carbon footprint. I'm very waste conscious. I know that recycling rates and processes in Australia are pretty poor, so I do my best to reduce any kind of consumption, waste. I rely on composting, reuse, repair. Obviously, all that stuff is preferable. I also volunteer semi-regularly, doing bush care, planting trees, that kind of stuff. I try and do my bit. But all of this makes negligible impact. Individual actions in general are very negligible. In the global scheme of things, if anything, I act on these things for my own mental health and my own interest. Not because I think I'm helping to avert the worst of the climate breakdown, or because it makes me less of a hypocrite as a climate activist. Ultimately, anything we do as individuals is just reinforcing a myth. That is the myth of consumer change. Under a capitalist system, transformation doesn't come from the point of consumption, but from the point of production. As is very well explained in Less is More, the book I showed you from Jason Hickel, and a myriad of other publications and media, the root of the climate crisis and many other social issues and crises is a worldwide fixation on infinite growth economy. Systematic issues in the way humanity is organized are causing the climate crisis and humanitarian catastrophes that we see today. These crises are not on you. They are on the system, they are on big business and colluding governments. Climate activists will tell you time and again that they have tried all the nice ways to change these systems. We have tried sending letters to politicians, meeting with them, starting petitions, organizing community gatherings to educate and discuss, organizing protests that are sanctioned and not disruptive. These things don't work. Or if they have worked, the difference they've made is, again, very negligible. It's really a hard word to say. Say it a little times faster. Non-violent civil disobedience, however, has created significant social change in the past. So like the work of the suffragettes, of the civil rights movement, of Gandhi, etc., etc. There are multiple examples. Their forms of disruptive civil disobedience have led to fundamental restructurings of society. That's what we need today on a huge scale in regards to the climate crisis. This particular book, this is an Uprising, another book that I've read, is a good example of why civil disobedience has worked in the past. Groups like Extinction Rebellion, that I'm a part of, or Blockade Australia, or Just Stop Oil, are attempting to do just that. They are non-violent civil disobedience groups that are working and building upon what has worked, a la this book, referencing lots of books, but I think that's a really important thing to say, that we're not just making all this up. So under capitalism, big business has all the bargaining power. The fossil fuel companies are the top dogs of the entire system. They rule over governments with lobbying and donations, and they rule over the public with greenwashing and influence in the media. The only way we are going to save our way of life and our species as a whole is to disrupt business as usual. It's really the only way. The science is sound and the news is clear, but if you're not convinced around how bad things are with the climate crisis, here's a really easy, simple way of getting into it. Read this book, Dr. Karl's little book of climate change science. I highly recommend it. Super easy to read, super easy to digest. The climate crisis, here's all the details. As a matter of fact, my favorite book, the one I've referenced multiple times already, Less is More, has a lot of these details too in its first few chapters before it gets into a really interesting idea, which is degrowth, which is the opposite of an infinite growth economy. Highly recommend it. Anyway, back to my notes. I don't think that I'm about to change the world as an activist, and I don't think that any of us as activists have any illusions of grandeur or hedonistic motivations to get in the spotlight or anything by winding up on the news. We are activists because civil disobedience gives us hope. Hope that we as a collective have a small chance. A chance to avert the very worst of the climate crisis. It is the only thing that we have come across that has the potential to instigate systematic change of the likes required to lessen the impact of the raging bushfires, the catastrophic flooding, apocalyptic storms, and the following food system and societal breakdowns that are going to come thanks to all these disasters. All these things are already happening, even if they're not happening to you yet. It sounds so dramatic, right? And I'm just merely sitting here talking about it, but it's now just scientific fact. I mean, it's in these books, right? We are hurtling towards a cliff. The powerful engine propelling us towards the cliff is an infinite growth capitalist system that is controlled by big business and its colluding governments who are ignoring the science. We shouldn't be as concerned with our individual actions, our individual carbon footprints, as we are with the systems that have got us into this mess. Blame belongs to the fossil fuel companies, blame belongs to the governments, and to the extremely wealthy, greedy, and careless, right? It doesn't belong to you. The climate crisis is not your fault, and with all those little good things that we're all trying to do, they're just not going to make much of a difference. We simply can't fix this on an individual level, on a consumer level, as I put it earlier. And we need to fix it right now. The science is clear. The shit has hit the fan and has started to create feedback loops that are causing immeasurably intense chaos. We are currently in the middle of the Holocene extinction, which is also known as the sixth extinction, as it is the sixth mass extinction event on this planet. Mass extinctions are characterized by the loss of at least 75% of species within a geologically short period of time. In the last 100 years, figures on extinction have grown exponentially. The current rate is estimated to be around 1,000 species per year. Human activities are the triggering factor, and we're a threatened species too. I've always been a stern, rule-abiding person, afraid of upsetting anyone or disobeying rules. But given that we are facing the collapse of our whole world, and we truly are, I think disruption is now our best bet. That's why I've been active with Extinction Rebellion South Australia for over 4 years. That's why I'm planning to go to Newcastle this November to join the coal blockade with Rising Tide. That's why I'm an activist. I act because I care, and the time to act is now. There is a role for everyone within activism, and I really think there is nothing more important or more meaningful that you could put your time into. Again, under a capitalist system, transformation doesn't come from the point of consumption or individual actions, it comes from the point of production. So, thank you for watching if you've come this far. 10 minutes into my blabbering on. I'm going to link in the description these books that I've referenced that have led me to these thoughts and like where I'm at with being an activist, and also some great YouTube channels. One of my favorites is Our Changing Climate. Another one I really like is Second Thought. I'll link all of this, and of course, a lot of you out there probably know the Juice Media for more of just like Australian politics. It's a good one to check out. But yeah, if you're interested, borrow one of these books from me, especially this one I think is fantastic. Or even more importantly, come and join with us with Extinction Rebellion. You don't have to go and get arrested to be involved, or come along to the coal blockade in Newcastle. Rising Tide are doing a lot of information sessions, so thank you for listening. See you soon.